Cool. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. I'm Kate. I'm the program manager from Link Up Illinois for the Farm Direct side of our program. So I run everything to do with Link Match at Link Up Illinois that has to do with farmers markets, farm stands, that sort of thing. So I was just going to cover what the program is, what the steps are that you take to get it, and some of the benefits of having the program at your market. I'm available for questions throughout it. We also have Matthew Rufy, who's our senior program manager, that can help answer questions as well. So feel free to pipe in whenever something comes up so that we can address it in the moment. Um, so just to give an overview of what we're going to talk about today, I'm going to introduce you to who Link Up Illinois is and everyone that works there. We're going to cover some of the basics of what SNAP, Link, and Link Match are. We'll talk about some of the benefits of having a Link Match program at your market. And then we'll run through a quick example of how you actually run a Link Match program at your market, so you have a sense of what you'd be doing, and then some of the resources that we as an organization provide for you. So who is Link Up Illinois? Link Up Illinois is a program of Experimental Station. We've been a part of Experimental Station since 2011, and we have a mission of increasing the affordability and accessibility of fresh foods. We do that by doubling the value of SNAP users' purchases, and we do that through the Link Match program that we have at farmers markets, farm stands, food co-ops, grocery stores, supermarkets, and corner stores throughout the state of Illinois. So we have two programs that run within Link Up Illinois. We have one that focuses on farm direct side and one that focuses on brick and mortar side. Both programs are there to issue healthy food incentives, the Link Match vouchers for SNAP purchases. The Farm Direct program is all of you guys. So it's farmers markets, farm stands, CSAs. We work with several delivery and online ordering markets and some mobile markets. In 2024, we partnered with 110 farm direct programs throughout the state of Illinois. This year, we're over 120. So we keep growing every year, working with more and more farms and markets, which is very exciting. There's four of us that work on the team. I'm Kate. I'm the Farm Direct Program Manager. So again, who's working with all of you guys. Raja is who runs the brick and mortar side. Raja is the Retail Program Manager. Allison is our program associate and does work with both programs, and is someone that you'd be in contact with a lot throughout your time working with the Link Match program. And then Matthew again is our senior program manager, so he's who oversees all of us. So just to cover what some of these terms are so you know how they all relate to each other and how they're slightly different. So SNAP is the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. This is the federally funded program that provides food assistance for low-income households. FNS number is a Food and Nutrition Services number. This is a number that markets apply to the USDA to get and are assigned, and it certifies that that market or establishment is eligible to accept SNAP as a form of payment. Link is the SNAP program that's specific to Illinois. So every state has their own SNAP program that they administer, and Link is the one that exists in our state. Link Match is the paper voucher that we provide, and that as a partner you distribute out to customers to redeem on fruits and vegetables at farmers markets. EBT stands for Electronic Benefits Transfer. That's the actual system that credits and debits food assistance onto Link cards. And then HFIP is a Healthy Food Incentive Program. That is what Link Match is. There are similar programs to us throughout the country. Not every state has them, but most states do. And so they have a similar matching program that you might hear about if you ever go to a conference that focuses on that sort of thing. So just know if you have a Link Match program, you're part of a Healthy Food Incentive Program. So the differences between SNAP and Link, just to clarify some of that, SNAP is again managed at the federal level. The U.S. Department of Agriculture is who oversees all of it. The funding for the program and eligibility of who can apply is set by the Farm Bill. As a farmer's market, you apply to the USDA to receive that FNS number, and that's what again makes you eligible to accept SNAP as a form of payment. Link is the Illinois specific SNAP program. It's administered at the state level by Illinois Department of Human Services. So if someone is applying to get SNAP benefits, they are applying to IDHS to get approved for that. And then that is who they're working with to get their card and figure out like what sort of funding they're eligible for. So when a SNAP user applies to them and is approved, they're then issued a link card, and those benefits are issued using EBT. So as a market, when you have a program, you're charging people's link cards using EBT whenever you run a SNAP transaction. A lot of times SNAP, Link, EBT, Link Card kind of all get used interchangeably. There's slightly different things that all relate to each other if you are to use any of those words to talk about running some sort of SNAP transaction. People are going to understand what you're saying, but just know that there are slightly different things that work together whenever people have benefits and when you issue benefits. When you are set up to accept Link, what you're then eligible for is to get a Link Match program at your market. So what Link Match does is it doubles your SNAP customers' buying power. So if you were to have a SNAP program and not apply to get Link Match, if someone were to come to your market and spend $25 on their Link card, they would only be walking out of there with $25 worth of things. When you have a Link Match program, you're able to distribute a Link Match voucher for every dollar that is spent in SNAP. And so then that customer, if that same customer spending $25 in SNAP, would then be able to buy $50 worth of things at your markets. There's limitations on what each is able to buy that we'll go into in a little bit, but it is essentially doubling the buying power of your customers. So the limitations are what specifically they can buy. SNAP has a pretty broad list of things that you can buy with it. It covers almost all groceries, aside from like hot prepared foods and alcohol. So you can buy all of your fruits and vegetables, meat, poultry, fish, any dairy, breads and cereals, snack foods, non-alcoholic beverages. And one that not everyone is aware of, you can use your SNAP benefits to buy seeds and starts that produce food. So at farmers markets in the spring, a lot of times your farmers have starts that they're selling, and anyone that uses SNAP benefits can use those. Link Match is a narrower list of things. So it's only there to be used on fruits and vegetables, mushrooms, and then again, the plants that produce food for your household. So any of your starts that your farmers are selling. Some of the benefits of Link Match. So I'm going to go through a few different things. One is information that comes from our end of year report. So this is what market managers report to us on what has happened with the program, what things they needed help with, what things went well. So we get a lot of information about some of the benefits that having that program had for them there. We also run surveying every year that we have to do for our funders. And so we're able to survey some of our Link Match users to hear about how the program went for them. And then the last thing is some financial information that we get from getting data reported to us. So I'm going to run through some of the benefits that we've been able to find from those sources. The first and most important one that I want to highlight is that having SNAP, having Link Match makes your market much more accessible. You're opening up it to a group of people that might not otherwise be able to afford it. And so that's a really important thing to consider when you're building out your market. We got a lot of anecdotal information from our market managers by when we get our end of year report. So one person from the Lanark Farmers Market, their market manager, talked about how vital this program is. They have people that are driving from 30 to 50 minutes away, which is a pretty significant travel to go and get groceries. And that on days, even when transportation wasn't available, they were doing the extra work to make sure that they could get to the market because it is where they get their groceries from. A market manager at Alton talked to us about how fruits and vegetables are oftentimes the first thing that gets cut from grocery lists. So having something like a Link Match program helps ensure that that doesn't happen. So you're able to make sure that customers that might otherwise not be able to make healthier choices and get produce are still able to get those because they have Link Match vouchers that will cover that in their limited budget. And then the survey that we run. So every year we have to go to our markets, survey a certain number of customers, and we're able to get a lot of information about what their experience was like with the program. So first of all, most by and large, people are having a really good experience with LinkMatch. Our customers are really happy with how it works. And more importantly, LinkMatch is a really big factor in where they're deciding to actually spend their money. So they are 95.9% of people were specifically seeking out places that have LinkMatch programs when deciding how to spend their SNAP benefits. So certainly a factor that customers are taking that have those benefits. The other important thing that we found is that by and large, people are increasing the amount of fruits and vegetables that they eat, and that their perceived health is getting better because of this program. So the takeaway here is just that you're definitely selling more fruits and vegetables. Respondents are saying that they are doing that as well. And then as a market, you are helping people feel healthier and better in their life. So certainly things to consider when you're wanting to open up accessibility of your market. The other big benefit that we have found are some vendor benefits. So some of this is going to be anecdotal information from our market managers, and some of it is just some revenue information that we can share to get an idea what that might look like at your market. So we certainly had multiple market managers tell us that LinkMatch is a huge part of why they actually vend at a market. So at the DeKalb market, they're saying LinkMatch vouchers are a huge incentive why we're a vendor. They're specifically choosing that because it is a program available to them. And then a vendor at the Illinois Product Farmers Market who talked about some of their sales is saying that their sales increased by a third because of the LinkMatch program. Again, you're opening up a whole new revenue stream at your market. And so all of your produce vendors are going to benefit from that being available to them. And then because customers are then spending LinkMatch with their produce vendors, other people that have SNAP eligible, but maybe not LinkMatch eligible also benefit because now SNAP benefits can be siphoned over there instead. The Twin City Farmers Market manager, they had a really successful market already running and became a partner last year. They had a lot of customers already coming to their market. And so, but what they were finding is that their vendors were reporting that their sales have increased from the previous year just because of the program being there. So people who are already coming to the market are now able to spend more money with the LinkMatch program. And the vendors were really happy with that outcome for them. So some of the data that I'll go over, this is information that is sent into us every week by markets that run a program. So what I looked at was what is average seasonal redemption looking like for both SNAP and LinkMatch. So this is all of the markets that we work with on average are bringing in around $30,000 total for their market in SNAP and LinkMatch. This is going to vary for every market depending on how long you run, how many vendors you have. So there's a lot of things to consider, but certainly we have a large increase to what is being actually spent at markets because of having this program. This is just a graph to kind of give you an overview of what that looks like. And then to think about it on a daily basis and to break it down by how many vendors you're actually having at your market. Still seeing increases for every type of market, but some of our smaller markets that have 0 to 4 produce vendors are having an average daily revenue of around 400 there. 5 to 9 are getting an average daily revenue of almost 1,400. And then our larger markets that have 10 plus produce markets are getting 2,500 or more every day being spent at their market. Again, this is split across all of your produce vendors, but certainly is something that you can look to see that having a program like this is going to be bringing money into your market more than likely. This is another graph just to kind of give you a sense of visually what that looks like for each of our markets. And now we're going to talk about what running a LinkMatch program is actually going to look like for you, so you get a sense of what the work is going to be like. So the first thing, in order to even have a LinkMatch program, you need to have an FNS number and you need to have equipment set up that is able to accept SNAP payments. So to get the FNS number, you're applying to the USDA to get approved. And then once you are approved, you want to set up a payment processor and have a POS system that can accept EBT. Not all payment processors do that. So you need to make sure that you're working with one that is able to take that kind of money. Our hot tip is to work with this organization called MarketLink. MarketLink helps both with the FNS application process, and they also help with getting a payment processor and equipment set up. They have grant funding that is available. So a lot of markets can apply for that grant funding, and that will help pay for the equipment that you'll be getting and any associated fees for a year. So it's definitely worth looking into that grant because it'll help with some of those extra costs that you'll take on. And then certainly just getting their assistance with the FNS process is a huge benefit. Getting your FNS number as a market is a very different process than what grocery stores go through. So it's helpful to have someone that can kind of walk you through that bureaucratic world to make sure that you're not missing anything. I'll send the slide deck out to Janie so it can get sent out, but this has links to an eligibility assessment to see if you're eligible to get that grant funding. It has a guide that helps walk you through the FNS application process if you just want to go about it yourself. And then it has their contact information if you want to reach out. So once you have your FNS number and your equipment, you're then ready to apply to us. The application to us is far easier than getting your FNS number. It takes about 20 minutes. We just need to know like how we're paying you, what your markets are, a little bit about your sales and vendor makeup so that we know that we're getting an appropriate amount of money to you. And then some like social media information so that we know how to talk about your market on our website and other places. When you apply to us, we look through it. Usually for a first-time market, we're issuing a $1,000 grant. All of our grants come with an 80-20% split. So the majority, 80%, is all there for link match redemption. So this is funds that you'd be using to pay out your vendors that accept link match for any of their sales. The other 20% is for administration of the program. So this can be anything from salaries of people that work at your information booth or maybe are dealing with the reimbursement of your vendors. You can use it for marketing and outreach materials if you want to make any. We provide a lot that I'll show you in a little bit, but certainly if you want to print anything, you can use it for those funds. And then any sort of like office supplies that you need to just organize the program, you can use that 20% for any of that. So with that first time $1,000 grant, you'd be getting $800 for link match redemption and $200 for admin. If at any point you're going to redeem beyond $800, we have additional funds that we can send over so that you're continuing the program all year. So once you have gotten your FNS number, you've gotten your equipment, you applied to us, we approved you and got you set up for that, you're then ready to run link match at your market. So what that is going to look like, there's going to be a little bit of work before, during, and after. Before your market starts, you want to make sure that you're assembling all the supplies that you need for the program. So you have to have your POS system. If you have SNAP tokens or vouchers that you are distributing for SNAP sales, you need those. You need link match vouchers. It's helpful to have something to organize your SNAP transactions because you're going to have to report some information to us on that. And then any marketing and outreach materials that you want to distribute that day, you'll want to have those assembled beforehand. We provide several of these things. So the link match voucher is something that we issue to you. You're not having to print that yourself. We have a lot of organizational tools for day of running that's available to you. And then marketing and outreach materials as well. There's some printed things that we send to you, and then there's some digital things that you're able to get printed that I'll show you in a little bit. While your market is running, you'll be having SNAP customers coming to your market. By and large, most of the markets that we work with are called pay first markets. And so this is what it would look like for your customers. They're going to come to your market. They'll go directly to your information booth where you have your SNAP POS system set up. They'll request a certain amount of money to be charged to their card. So you'll swipe their link card for that amount and then distribute either a token or voucher that represents SNAP currency at your market and distribute an equal amount of link match vouchers that doubles their payment. The customer will then go around to all of your vendors and they'll spend their tokens and vouchers as if they are cash on eligible items, and then walk out of the market with whatever they bought that was SNAP and link match eligible. Again, so you're going to have lots of different kinds of vendors at your market. There are limitations of what Snap and Link Match can be used for. And when you have Snap and Link Match, you are responsible then for redeeming your vendors for any of those sales. So this is a pretty common makeup of vendors: a meat, cheese, hot food, and produce vendor. Your meat and cheese vendor are selling things that are SNAP eligible, but not Link Match eligible. So as a market, you're going to be reimbursing them for any SNAP sales that you have. Those funds are ones that you charged onto people's SNAP cards. So all those funds would be in whatever account you set up with your POS system and payment processor. So all of those SNAP sales are in your hands until you reimburse your meat and cheese vendor. A lot of markets have hot food vendors. Hot food is neither SNAP or Link Match eligible. So those are going to be transactions that you don't have to deal with as a market. Customers will directly go to those vendors and be spending their money with them. And then your produce vendor is both SNAP and Link Match eligible. So at the end of the day, you have to be reimbursing them for any SNAP sales that they had and any Link Match sales. At the end of your day, you'll be counting through your SNAP distribution and redemption. So the SNAP distribution is going to be how much money you actually swiped onto link cards. And the SNAP redemption is how much was actually paid for with your SNAP tokens with your customers. Link match distribution and redemption. Link match distribution is going to be what you distributed in actual link match vouchers to your customers. This is usually equal to what your SNAP distribution was. And then link match redemption is going to be what was paid for with your link match grant. That's going to be how many of those vouchers were actually spent with your vendors that day. So you'll count up those four things. There's a few other pieces of data. We ask for some things about attendance and then some information about your vendor makeup. And all of that is going to be the weekly report that you submit to us at LinkUp Illinois. This is information that we're required to submit to our funders. So it is information that every week has to be submitted. So again, just to clarify where the funds are coming from that you're using to pay out your vendors, your SNAP. For SNAP, you're applying to the USDA, you get your FNS number. Whenever SNAP transactions are then run at your market, it's being paid directly to your market by your payment processor whenever you run link cards. Link Match is going to be the grant funding that you receive from us. You've applied to us to get those funds. You're paid upfront with your Link Match grant, and then you're using that to pay out your vendors for any Link Match sales at your market. Some of the things that LinkUp Illinois provides, we provide you with the voucher. So this is what that voucher looks like. You might have seen it at other markets or possibly seen it come to your market before. This is what we will send out to you whenever you have a Link Match program, and that you'll distribute whenever you have SNAP sales. The other paper marketing materials that we provide you with are brochure and flyers. The brochure is going to be a comprehensive resource of how you use the program and all the locations that we have programs at. So it'll cover all of the markets that we're at as well as the grocery stores. And then the flyer is a half page that we provide everyone with that they can distribute in mass to community organizations that they work with and that they know work directly with SNAP users. It's available in English and Spanish on each side, and then we have just opened it up to be available in a few other languages as well. Our partner packet is another resource that we provide. It has a lot of different printable signage for your information booth, for vendor booths. So this is an information booth sign that you can get printed off and put up. We have handouts that walk you through how to use Link Match and at the market that you can distribute. We have buyers quick guides that clarify what SNAP benefits can be used for, what Link Match benefits can be used for. So these are all things that you can pass out to customers. We have signage that you can put up on your vendor booths that make it clear where people can accept SNAP, where people can accept Link Match. We have social media templates that you can use so that you can quickly download and post to your social media to show that you have a Link Match program. And then this is for Instagram. This is one of those like Facebook covers that you can put up. Whoops. And then we have several market organization tools that we provide, so different transaction logs that you can use. We have best practices guides for how to market the program on your website and on social media. And then we have brand consistency guides that we provide that give you helpful information on how to create your own things and stay consistent with LinkMatch brand. We do a lot of promotion ourselves. So we have our website where we put your market information, and anyone coming to our website would see that you're a market available to get LinkMatch at. It has both a listing of every market and also a map that visualizes where all these markets happen. We have an Instagram account, Link Up Illinois, that we watch what all of our partners are posting and repost information. Whenever someone adds us as a collaborator, then it's showing up also on our feed. So it's helpful to get some exposure for your program there. And then similarly on our Facebook side, we repost everything that we're tagged in on Instagram and Facebook. So anytime that you're tagging us as a partner, we're putting it on our side as well. So people who just follow us are seeing information about your market as well. We also do paid promotion on Instagram. So this is different posts that we do that promote LinkMatch, and then also filter it down to be regional so that we're posting things that are regionally specific and have paid promotion around that, so that we're targeting some of the customers where we actually have programs. If you guys have any questions, Matthew and I are here to answer questions, but our contact information is also here. So you can email us at linkup@experimentalstation.org or give us a call. Either one, we get back to you very quickly if we don't answer the phone right away. But we're here to help anyone have a successful program. And if you have any questions about getting started, we can help with pointing you in the right direction. Are there any questions that I can help answer?
There's a couple questions in chat, Kate, that I can read to you. Kelly was asking, when are we going to get brochures?
Brochures are at the printer right now, and they should be getting sent out around mid-May.
And then the other question was Jill asking about, does your material include info for vendors so they know what vouchers can be used for Snap and Link? And since you're taking a drink of water, I can start to talk to this one. So it does have some information around the LinkMatch vouchers. Like those vouchers are often, featured in any of the promotional stuff that we have. When it comes to your individual market, to what Kate spoke about before, for the more common, the pay first market, where someone walks up to your booth, they're actually going to swipe their card first and then receive both the LinkMatch vouchers that would be from us, but also whatever your market currency is for Snap. We don't have anything on there for that because every market has their own currency, their own designs. We do have some customizability in the materials that we have, and I'll hand this back to Kate because she's a heck of a lot smarter on this, but we do have Canva and some other ways that you can customize it. So I think that could be an interesting thing to actually add to some of the information that's in what we call our partner packets. But Kate, you might talk a little bit more to the customization side when it comes to if they wanted to show some of their actual Snap vouchers too.
Yeah, on the Canva side, we don't have a resource specific to that, but there are most of the resources that we have it set up so that you can put information about your market into it, so that it is both what we've created, but then still relevant to your own market. I could bring it up to potentially have like a template like that, but again, yeah, because everyone is going to have a different type of Snap currency. LinkMatch is universal to anyone that has a LinkMatch program, but your Snap currency is going to be specific to your market. So whatever we make would not cover every market. It would be specific to one market. But I could bring up maybe having like a template where you can kind of just fill in like what your token looks like or what the voucher looks like, and have everything else filled out for you.
Can I add something?
Of course.
And that would be that there's usually a learning curve at a market. And so when you start to accept Link or Link and LinkMatch, I would think there's some sort of an educational component that you'll have to do with your vendors. Number one, to make sure that the right people take the right tokens and that people that are not eligible understand. So the training should be universal to everybody in your market, because the last thing you want is someone to take a token or a LinkMatch voucher from someone that they can't get paid for, because even though they allowed that person to spend the money with them, their product that they sell is not eligible. So there is a learning curve that usually needs to be done with your vendors. But then, you saw those great signs that LinkUp is making available, and it allows you to like put a sign on each vendor that shows what they accept. And so that can be a really helpful way to not only remind the customers, but it also reminds the vendors that, oh, wait, there's no sign. I can't take any of this. Or wait, I have the link match sign and the snaps, whatever the case may be. But that really helps, I think, clear up some of the confusion. But you usually do have to do some training.
Yeah, and then to answer your question, Jill, that you have in the chat, so vendors are reporting to you what they've sold. So they'll be holding on to all the link match vouchers that they receive and all the snap vouchers and tokens that they receive. At the end of the market for them, they're usually filling out a table that gives the total for each of those and then turning it in a packet with both the table and all the vouchers of both currencies that they got back, so that you can confirm that what their total is what you're counting as well. And that's how you're checking on what you actually need to pay your vendors after the market. And then it looks like there's also a question, who will I be contacting if I dial this number, email? So yeah, it's a general number and email address for all four of us. And so we all check it to see who it's most relevant for and send it over to the right person.
And it would be correct to say that it doesn't matter what point in time a market starts the link and link match program. That even though the market season, maybe you're starting next week, or maybe you've already started, but it can be something that you can add as you become eligible through USDA with your FNS number, and then you're being eligible through receiving a link match grant. Correct?
Yeah, we accept applications all year round. We do kind of try to get everyone to apply before April 1st so that we can make printed promotional materials, but we still accept applications after that, and we'll work with people throughout the entire year. And then to answer the question about POS systems, so it depends on what system that you have. Most are like you can charge before a market. A lot of times people's POS systems are on their phone as an app, and then they just plug in the like card swiper. But it depends on what system that you have. But most of them don't require electricity beyond having charged it prior to your market.
Jill, at my market, I typically bring just one of those little, battery blocks that I use for phone charge just in case. And I've seen a similar thing for whether you're using Total Play or Clover or any of those other ones. So great question, and Kate's spot on. But yeah, you don't have to worry about running a 100 foot long extension cord to somewhere, especially where some of our markets are.
Any other questions? Oh, Gretchen, it looks like you have your hand raised.
I do. Thank you. So we are a 100% volunteer run farmers market, and our impediment to participating in this program has all been around the administrative overhead required. You kind of touched on that in the slides a little bit, but could you go through that again about what would be required each week from a market participating in the program?
Yeah, so the big things that are required is, one, there's going to be some organizational work that you'll need to do before your market. I'll go back to the slides so that you can have that visual. So you're going to be organizing all of your supplies, which isn't really like a huge overhead of time, but you just want to make sure you have your POS system, all of the types of currencies that you have things printed off to help organize your day and to organize your vendors. And then have any of the marketing materials that we provided to you. During the sales, during your market hours, you need to make sure that you have someone that can be staffed at your information booth. A lot of times this is volunteers for markets, even that have paid positions, but you'd have someone that needs to be at an information booth the whole time to be able to run transactions. And then someone that is able to collect all the information from their vendors at the end of the day for what their sales looked like. And then after your market closes, usually this happens days after, you're not doing this directly after, but you're going through and counting all of the payments that were made to your vendors, so you know how much Snap and Link Match was redeemed and what you have to pay out your vendor then. And then you know, organize some of the other data information that we ask for, which is mostly things to do with attendance, Snap transactions that you ran, and vendor makeup. So those things are, if you have organizational tools in place before your market and that you're using during your market, those things are pretty easy to find. The biggest thing is counting through all of the Snap and Link Match that was redeemed to make sure that what you're paying your vendor is the same amount. And then you have to submit all that information to us every week. When things are organized, it usually takes about 5 minutes to actually submit the report. So as long as you're using some of the transaction tools that we provide for you, it's not a huge amount of legwork afterwards if everything is organized correctly. But certainly we do work with a lot of entirely volunteer run markets. We do have a lot of markets that have maybe 1 or 2 paid staff members, but a lot of them are volunteer entirely. So it is something that is definitely doable.
Okay, and the weekly report, it's due on a particular day kind of situation?
We just want it within the week. At the
Within the
end of
week.
the month, we submit, we send out an email to everyone that has the reports that we've gotten from you, and if we think we're missing any, and that will have, so like we kind of say like by the end of the month, please get us all of your information. But a lot of times it's best to just do it every week so that it doesn't pile up. And if there's ever like a discrepancy with a vendor, you're able to kind of solve that quickly. The other thing to consider with doing it weekly versus monthly is your vendors are essentially like in the hole on their Snap and Link Match sales until you reimburse them. So we definitely recommend that you're at the very least reimbursing your vendors on a weekly or bi-weekly basis so that they're getting compensated for those sales that they made quickly. And when you're, because they kind of go hand in hand, a lot of times it's worth it to just report the data at the same time that you're paying out your vendors.
And do you have a sample of what the listing looks like at a vendor's booth? So that helps them track what's coming, where they've received the payments?
Yeah, so we have both a Snap transaction log, which is what you would house at your information booth, and then a vendor redemption log that you would print out for all of your vendors. Usually what a market does is print off a vendor redemption log for every vendor that they have that day, and distribute it in like a banker bag that is waterproof and sealable. And then throughout the day, as vendors are getting paid, they'll put all their Snap tokens and Link Match vouchers into that packet, count it all up at the end of the day, and then turn that into you.
Okay,
Kate, if
so
you-
can I go someplace to go see those forms? Is what I guess I'm asking.
Oh, yeah, I can pull up what those look like really quickly for you.
Kate, I
Thank
just dropped it in chat if you want to, if you click on the link I sent you, it should be right there.
Fabulous.
Perfect.
Oh, there you go. She's so much faster than me.
So this is what your Snap transaction log looks like. So this is what would be at your information booth. Every time a customer comes and is asking to have a Snap transaction, you would fill this out so that you're able to quickly add up for us how much you had in Snap sales, and how much Link Match you distributed, and then some of the information about if it's a repeat customer or a number of customers that you had, and all of your vendor information. Your Snap sales and your number of transactions is also something that you can usually pull from your payment processor, but this just helps consolidate everything into the same place. And then, sorry, everything is, everything from Zoom is covering exactly where I want to be. The vendor redemption log looks like this. So you'd print one off for every single vendor. We usually recommend that you print it on something like sturdy, like cardstock, so that you can use it week to week. And then every week the vendor is filling out one line per week that they're open with how much Snap they're counting that they got and how much Link Match they're counting that they got, and what that total is. And then you're double checking that what they counted is what you're counting when you count through all of the tokens and vouchers that are in that packet as well.
Thank you. That's helpful.
Yep.
And
Hey Gretchen, just real quick to jump in. So separate from being part of Link Up Illinois, I do run a farmers market and we're volunteer based too. So I can tell you that when we started it, that was absolutely the biggest fear that I had was being there the whole time. And Jill, I think this even touches on your question as well. Can the time frame be limited by the availability of people to run the booth? It's only me. Um, we have now, we may just be very lucky, but we've had a lot of people who once they came and shopped the market and saw in our first year kind of it was a little bit tough. That was, no question about it. On the day of the administrative part of it, I promise you it's not too bad. And like Kate's saying, if you kind of do it when it's top of mind on the weekend or the next days. But we have actually had a lot of people that have asked specifically to volunteer for that booth once they see like how big of a community impact it is. And so we have a handful of volunteers that do all of this stuff for us. And it's been a great place to like insert volunteers too, because it's something where you're not going to have a lineup of hundreds of people that first day. I would love it if you did, but it's not going to be so overwhelming. And more of it is around having kind of a warm body in that booth that can welcome the person, greet them, and even if that means that they need to come grab you to do something, it really is. It is absolutely something that's attainable, but very much feel the pain points that you have with being the volunteer run market. And yeah, just wanted to share that with you. That it really is really rewarding though, and we've had a good deal of volunteers that have come up because we had it. If that helps at all.
I'm pretty sure you and I have a contact in common who suggested I reach out here. It's Katie, right? So yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good.
there's one more question in here.
Yeah, it looks like, do customers need to redeem all vouchers the same day they're distributed? No, you don't have to. So both the SNAP tokens that you'd be distributing, those, if you're Pay First Market, those don't have to be redeemed the same day. A lot of times people that have Pay First Markets will have a different SNAP amount that they distributed versus redeemed, and a customer is just going to come back another week to spend those. The link match vouchers also similarly don't have to be spent the same day. The difference though is that the link match voucher that they receive, they might go and spend at another market, or they might come to your market with the link match voucher that they got from somewhere else and spend it at your market. So the voucher, because it's universal, both doesn't have to be redeemed that same day, and also might not end up getting spent at your market. And you might also be getting vouchers that are coming in from different markets. The SNAP tokens and vouchers can only be spent at your market. Link match can be anywhere that has a link match program.
Okay, I'm going to jump in and just on one other one too, because I said her name and then I didn't actually address it at all, so that's my bad. Jill, you asked, can the time frame be limited based on availability of people to run the booth? It's only you. The short answer is yeah, probably. Technically we ask that it's always available throughout the market, but we also want markets and communities to have this program. My suggestion would be as consistent as you can be, so that from a customer perspective, if they always know that you're there at the top of the hour and not the second half hour, whatever that may be, I think if you can be as consistent as possible, or even have someone that could, maybe run and get you, or, a little. When we first did it, I started with a walkie-talkie that was at the vendor next to where the booth was. They were kind enough to just say like, "Hey, Roofy, get over here," so I could run back. So I think there's a lot of options there. I do think you could probably find a way to do the time frame in a limited way if needed. But I would just suggest thinking of it from the customer standpoint, so that they have the best experience possible. But you have to balance that with running the market, and we all know what an amazing job you all do, and how tough that can be, and how hard you work to make it happen. So we'll work with you in any way that we can, if that helps. And then Kate, I'll hand it back to you for Davia.
Yeah, there's a question for Davia.
Well, so yeah, the question is, when does the market get reimbursed for the SNAP funds? So the market you as a market would have a payment processor set up with your market. So whenever you're running a SNAP transaction, you are being directly paid for SNAP transactions that you run. Usually it's closing out, but like end of day, you're then being compensated for all the transactions you ran the previous day. It's similar to like when you run credit cards. It's amassing all the sales that you had for the day, and at a certain point the payment processor says this is our end of day, and anything that you were paid before that we will now distribute to you the next business day. So those are pretty immediate. And then the link match grant, we're paying you up front before you start, and then subtracting out from it as you submit information to us on your redemption. So, and we're tracking to make sure that you're not going over on that amount that you have. And if you ever are, then we're reaching out to be like, hey, we need to get another contract signed, and we'll send over more funds so you can continue running the program. Did that help answer the question? Okay, cool. Are there any apps available? Yeah, not that we're aware of or recommend or can suggest. There might be something out there that we're not aware of, but haven't heard from anyone about a service like that that has been helpful.
Yeah, we've heard of one that was out there, but the market abandoned using it because it was not helpful. So I'm not going to
Yeah.
recommend that. So hopefully, you know, these kinds of things keep evolving and changing. And certainly if we come across something, that's something we would let everybody know, because that would be absolutely amazing to have things coordinated within one app. But right now, that's not the case.
Any other questions that we can help clarify? Cool. Well, thank you for having us. Again, if you ever want to reach out to us, link up at experimentalstation.org is the best place to do it, or give us a phone call. One of us will be able to help you out, or at least point you in the right direction. Yeah, we hope to see a lot of you come on as new partners. We're always looking for new people to be working with.
Thank you very much. And we really appreciate you sharing your time with us today. And thank you for everybody for joining us. And like they said, if you have questions, please reach out, or if ILFMA can help you in any way, please reach out to us at info@ilfma.org. So thank you again.
To whoever's dogs just cheered us on, let them know they're good dogs. Good dogs.
Thanks.
Oh, is that you, Jamie?